Now, from across the tri-states, this is KHQA Sports.
One of the unique byproducts of this Christmas tournament basketball season is that you really never know what you're going to see from a given team coming off the break, no matter how good or bad they might have played prior to the holiday. Quincy Notre Dame, for an example, had played really well going in to the holiday tournament at the State Farm Classic in Bloomington. And guess what? The break did nothing to stop their momentum. Poor Macon Meridian didn't know what hit him today. Chris Dietrich, part of that barrage, had the three right there, and it was off and running. How about some Alex Fitch? He was good today. Off the mark here, but chases down his own rebound for 2 of his game-high 27 points on the day. Riley Walls getting into the act as well. Going to make some things happen right here. Pretty move for him, scooping one up amongst the tall timber. The Raiders led this game 31-8 after 8 minutes. Alex Fitch just going to work in this one. How about 3 more from Alex? Pure in that one, knocking down the triple. He also comes away with a steal and the bucket and the Band-Aid at the other end right here. All Raiders all the time. The Raiders, as I mentioned, scored 31 in the first quarter. Macon scored just 29 the whole game. Quincy Notre Dame wins and leaves no doubt about it. 70-29 was your final. Meanwhile tonight, back at the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament, the host team taking on Eureka. First go-round as a bomber for Jeremy Anderson. No stranger to the tournament, though. All those Abingdon days he spent coaching here. How about Damone Doyle right here? Driving, splitting a couple of defenders, and helping the Bombers off to a hot start in this one. Later in the third quarter, it's Evan Hoon going to find Alema Stone wide open for the easy 2. But points proved hard to come by for the Bombers tonight as they end up losing to Eureka after the good start. 47-30 would be your final there. Meanwhile, much earlier in the day, really good news from West Hancock, a team that traditionally always gets the 9 a.m. start. They played more like it was 9 p.m. today early on as Paxton Harmon was leading the flourish. He had 3 there, and nice little 2 right here. Paxton Harmon at the height of his powers, even cleaning up messes after the miss right here by the big fella. That is Mr. Gibbs missing right there. That is Mr. Harmon cleaning up. And how about another bucket? Parker Gibbs right there, one of the rare Paxton Harmon non-buckets in the first half, as Harmon had 20 of his team's 26 in the first half. Harmon doing everything in this game, assisting to Mr. Parker Gibbs as well for the easy deuce. Then it's the Austin Hardy miss, and there's Mr. Gibbs as well, the putback. All West Hancock all the time as Paxton Harmon finishes with 30 points in the day. West Hancock wins and advances. They knock off Farmington 59-28. Up next for West Hancock tomorrow night at 4 o'clock at Macomb High School will be Metamora, a winner today over Camp Point Central, 57-48. Pittsfield struggles in this tournament continue. They lose to Illini Central through the Saukees 49-38, despite leading that game at one point by 11. Also, Illini West, a winner today behind a double-double from the emerging Levi Kirby, who had 12 points and 10 rebounds. We take you now to Waverly, the 2-seed in action. That is the Route Rockets taking on the Pretzels of New Berlin. Dylan Jones all alone on the inside, and it gets no easier than that, rolling that home. The big fellows doing their work tonight for the Rockets. Justin Ketchum going to drive and find the biggest of the big fellows right here. That is Brent Long with the easy take, all 6'7" of him. Or actually, Brent Long with the assist. That was Ketchum with the finish. Here is Mr. Long, wide open on the down low. Nice take for him on the pause and the hesitation. Big story in this game, as always, Ryan Lindsay, who had himself a heck of a day today. Bombing from outside right here. The 3 is good. The 2-seed, no trouble dispatching with New Berlin today as Route wins 69-56. Other boys scores to pass along. Triopia taking care of business today over Franklin, winning 75-50. Also, the number 1 seed, well, they're dead as far as the championship goes. The host team, Waverly, beaten in the first game of the day, right out of the gate, 56-54. Better news for West Central, taking out Pawnee today behind 12 points from Corey Barnett. Let's do some girls action now. Beardstown, Lady Tiger. Well, let's do a couple more scores for you first. At the Carrollton tournament, Beardstown beaten by Piasaw Southwestern, 44-36. Much better day for Griggsville Perry in Carrollton as they beat Brussels 68-42 was the final in favor of the Tornadoes. Now on to the Beardstown tournament. Liberty Payson taking on South Fulton. Early on, it is South Fulton trying to pull off the upset as Molly Lascelles is going to hit the jumper right here. The story in this game, though, Kristen Luce, who was simply dominant in the low blocks today for the Liberty Payson Eagles, and she's going to come up eventually with the loose ball off the steal, and she is going to convert. I believe Miss Luce had 17 points of the day, many of them on plays just like this. In fact, we'll show you another, as Kristen Luce was kind of the vacuum cleaner inside that took care of all the untidiness and led her team to a victory over South Fulton. Wasn't easy, but it was a victory as Liberty Payson's on to the championship quarterfinals, winning today 44-36. 39. Earlier in the day, Brown County, Illini West going at it. This was a fun game. Leah Cassing, the Brown County alum, on radio today, doing some nice work with our friend Larry Boswick right there. Early on, I told you it was all Brown County up by 11. Third quarter, though, here comes Illini West. That is Gracie Bostert with the steal and the take and the deuce. Again, Gracie Bostert, this time with a steal. She's not going to get it, but Jenna Bryan's going to clean up for her, make her look a little better right here with a 2 at the other end. And then it's Holly McDowell attacking on the down low right here as Illini West seizes a 6-point lead. Jenna Yingling and Brown County trying to make a secondary comeback in this game. Yingling off the great pass from Vanessa Markert right there, takes it up, takes it strong, and then Vanessa Markert would go to work. She had 27 today. Great bucket for her right here, and one. However, Brown County's second comeback attempt failed as Illini West gets the win. Final count in this one sees the Chargers win 46-39. Also later in the day, the Chargers pull off the upset of Route and advance to the quarterfinals, winning in overtime 41-37. How about the Macomb Bombers? Speaking of upset teams, taking on Farmington after a win earlier in the day. Macomb going to Kayla Vestal, and she was good. Had herself double figures on the day. Then Erin Sullivan, speaking of good, knocking down jumpers from near and far in this ball game. Farmington trying to come back desperately. Farmington favored in this game, the higher seed. Great bucket right here, great take. Although you couldn't do that again if you tried. That was a tough shot. But too much Erin Sullivan, too much Zoe Lambert as Macomb gets the job done. 2 wins today for the Bombers. Zach Keene's teams always play well down at Beardstown, and they're advancing on to the championship quarterfinals by virtue of the win today. As I mentioned earlier in the day, Macomb ended up beating Illini Central 73-19. Sienna Gilly with 17 points. Other scores on the girls' side today. We've got Pittsfield Pleasant Hill beating North Fulton 42-12. Shea O'Brien with 19 points in that one, but unfortunately Pittsfield falls later to Havana. Final count in that one was 53-47. The Beardstown girls knocked off by West Hancock, and then West Hancock pulls off the upset of the day, beating Unity 50-48 to advance to the championship semifinals. Also tonight, winners included Pleasant Plains, although Plains got knocked off by West Central. West Central versus West Hancock in the quarterfinals. Triopia winner early, but Triopia knocked off by Canton, who will take on the Macomb Bombers, as we mentioned earlier. So your quarterfinals are set, and we do it all again tomorrow with a much busier schedule. Going to be fun on our Thursday.
You're right.
Going to feel like sports final.
And we'll have a look at your forecast next on KHQA News at 10.